full itemization guide for Fiora after durability patch. I have here three of the main items, of the core items, how you want to build your Fiora after the patch in 12.10, after the durability patch, and also after the Fiora nerfs in 12.12. So if you're not sure what you should buy, or if you're generally new to Fiora, I'm sharing with you today what I have from what I learned from 3 years of experience, from 3 years of playing Fiora, and I'm sharing my top 3 builds with you, and I recommend you playing those builds as well, because higher elo players, challenger players, competitive players also play those builds, so you should do that as well. So let's dive into it. Alright, the first build is my favorite build actually. I built this in 80% of my games. It's Gore Drinker into Ravenous Hydra. This build is perfect if you are in 1v2 or 1v3 scenarios. Also, if you want to team fight, this is the build you want to go for. This is the only team fighting build you want to go with Fiora. So if you're planning on fighting with your team, fighting for the objectives, go this build. You want to start Gore Drinker, then you want to grab boots, either plated steel caps or mercs, depending on the enemy team, and then afterwards you want to go Ravenous Hydra. The second build is more of a split push chasing build. You can pick this into a lot of ranged champions. So let's say they have 3 ranged champions, sometimes teams have 4 ranged champions. You want to grab this build. Also, it's good versus tanks. For example, Malphite, he has a lot of mobility, he has a lot of sustain, a lot of armor. Also, this build works good for those champions, and it's more for split pushing. So it's not really a build you want to focus on team fighting with, but you can still team fight. But with this build, you should more look to flank like the enemy ADC or APC, and then look to somehow survive. So you don't want to come into a scenario where you're in the middle of a team fight, because then you will be just dead. And this item build is Strikebreaker into Blade of the Ruined King, into some tanky matchups, for example Sejuani, Malphite, Mundo. You can think about going Borg first. It's very, very good. Yeah, it's very, very good. You counter your enemy top laner very well with it. Of course, you have your mythic a little bit delayed, so this is more optional, but this is like the standard way to go. And of course, as well as before, after the mythic, you build your boots, and then you want to build the Borg. And the last item build is Divine Sunderer into Ravenous Hydra. And for the first 2 builds, you want to go those builds when you go Conqueror. When you go Conqueror in the runes. When you go Grasp in the runes, and this is into some tricky matchups. I'm not using Grasp as much as I used to in like when the season started. I really love Conqueror, and I really love the Ravenous Hydra Gore Drinker build. But if you're struggling with a matchup, let's say Wukong, Riven, Tryndamere, Gnar, stuff like that, if you're struggling with those lanes, then you should go for Grasp, because the thing is, Grasp is better for lane, but Conqueror is better for late game. So every time you go Grasp in those matchups I just said, every time you want to look for a Divine Sunderer, because the active or the passive from Divine Sunderer works very good with Grasp, and also Divine Sunderer is more of a split push item, and it helps you in those hard matchups. Like I said, Poppy, you can do it into Malphite, yeah, whatever you're struggling with. And then into a Ravenous Hydra. So here I always recommend you Ravenous Hydra. You only want to go Borg with Strikebreaker, because actually Strikebreaker gives you the slow, the active, it's a slow, and Borg has a passive where when you attack a champion 3 times, you steal 25% of their move speed for 2 seconds. So this is really a chase build. You want to chase people down, but You don't want to mix this really up. You can do it, of course. You always should build situational. Always think about what's the best item, think about it yourself, read it, what exactly does the item, and then choose depending on the situation. But these are the most basic things, the most basic builds I go. And then after you, these are only the 2 items you build with your tier 2 boots, and afterwards you want to go into the mid game, late game items. Best third item on Fiora is Death Stance, always is and always will be, or for now it will be. I wouldn't buy Sterak's, it's not that good anymore. I would buy Death Stance instead. Then second best late game item is GA, Guardian Angel. You can build a early stopwatch if you have, for example, a bounty. So let's say you are worth like, so let's say you have 700 gold bounty, so you are worth 1000 gold. Then you don't want to give those 1000 gold to your enemy team, then you can grab an early stopwatch. For example, yesterday I had a game where I built Guardian Angel second item because I was really fat and I didn't want the enemy to get my shutdown. And it worked. We won the game. I carried. It was really, really good. Then late game items for magic resistance and also other situations, because Death Stance also works against AP. So Death Stance also, the passive of Death Stance also works into magic damage. But the GA only gives you armor. Of course, if you die to magic damage, then also the passive helps you because you get revived. But other than that, into a lot of AP burst, my favorite item is Maw of Mortius. And if the enemy has some AP but it's not that bursty, then you can go for Spirit Visage, because the Maw of Mortius gives you the lifeline shield, which only works against, so it's a shield against magic damage. So if they don't have a lot of magic damage, then the shield won't help you a lot. Then I will recommend you Spirit Visage. But my favorite build of all time is Gore Drinker into tier 2 boots, into Ravenous Hydra, into Death Stance, into Maw of Mortius, into GA Guardian Angel. This is my most basic build. If you check my OPGG, if you check my match history, you will see it in 80-90% of my games. Another item you can either go first item, you can go second item, you can go third item. Today I built it fourth item in the game because I decided to split push. Hullbreaker. It's great for splitting, probably the best split pushing item there is in the game. Combined with Death Stance, it's very, very good. And yeah, you can build this, it works. You don't see it a lot when you watch high elo Fiora players, but you see it sometimes, so you should also every now and then think about building this item, because I also like it a lot, but you only want to buy it if you really want to split push. So if you're planning on joining your team on dragon fights, baron fights, then Hullbreaker is not the item for you, because the passive only gives you the armor and magic resistance when you are alone. So only build this item when you are alone in a side lane, but then in those situations it's really, really strong. And that's it. That's everything you need to know actually to play Fiora and yeah, build your Fiora perfectly actually, because those are the best items for Fiora. And yeah, that's what you take notes, maybe save this video for later, or you can also create your own item set on your account, just so you remember this, because yeah, otherwise you might forget it. So yeah, that's it. If this was helpful for you at all, leave a like, it supports my channel. Also comment down below and let me know how you are doing with Fiora. If you are playing her, if you are planning on playing her, just let me know. Would really be nice to know. And if you haven't already, would be nice if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I'm posting daily content on League of Legends, not only on Fiora, but also general guides. I want to help you guys how to climb while I am climbing myself. So we're doing this together. Let's do this. Let's climb. Let's improve and stay positive and don't be toxic. It helps. It helps. It really helps a lot. Yeah, with this being said, I'm tuning out. See you guys. Bye bye.